Okay, I've just finished these, and these are the famous Bugman's Rangers from the 1980s. A metal box set which I had, probably about 5 Christmases ago now from eBay during the lockdown. I actually wasn't going out at all, so I had extra money to spare. So I thought I'd buy myself some Bugmans. And here they are, all finished today. I'll move them back a bit so you can get a better look. There we go. And they come in this amazing box from the time. There it is, Bugman's Dwarf Rangers, Regiments of Renown. So I'll read you the fluff on the back. It was a clear, crisp morning in early spring when a mule cart creaked up to the entrance of Carrick Farm. 2 guards looked suspiciously at the driver, a small hunched figure, thickly wrapped in a variety of foul-smelling and flea-ridden blankets. It might be a dwarf, but they couldn't be sure. "Who are you and what's your business?" challenged one of the guards. The driver of the cart crackled softly. "Come and see your king I have," it said, gathering the blankets around it as it shuffled down from the driving seat. "Brought something for him." The guards looked at one another a little nervously. "What is it then?" asked one. The other moved towards the back of the cart and started to lift the tarpaulin that covered its cargo. "Don't you dare touch that!" Surprised by the sudden power in the driver's voice, the guard dropped the tarpaulin as if it had burnt them. "It's had enough of a messing with just getting here." The driver grumbled. "And if you go a-poking and a-prodding it about, it won't be fit for goblins. And now, if you don't mind, I've had enough of the oily rags and I'd like to talk to the mechanic." Such a speech could only have come from the lips of a dwarf, so the cart was admitted to the dwarf hold. By the time the king had arrived on the scene, a small crowd had gathered. A hush fell over the crowd as the stranger deftly whipped the tarpaulin off the cart, revealing a large barrel. "Now, I'm not guaranteeing how well it's travelled," he announced, to no one in particular. He produced a grubby metal tankard from among his massive blankets, drew off a little of the barrel's contents, and peered at it critically. He sniffed. "Gone cloudy," he swigged noisily, then screwed up his face and spat. "Worse than that, though," he continued. "It could really do with settling for a month or 2. Still, it should give you the general idea." He held out the tankard to the king. After a moment's hesitation, the king accepted the tankard and, wiping the rim fastidiously with his cuff, took a swig. The effect was remarkable. His eyebrows shot up to the very rim of his crown. His eyes bulged and began to water as he was doubled over by a fit of coughing. After a few seconds, the coughing subsided and was followed by a deep, resonant belch. It was almost a minute before he was able to speak. "I don't believe it," he exclaimed. "It can't be. It's Bugman's." There was an uproar in the chamber. It was many years since the Battle of Bugman's Brewery. Joseph Bugman was just a memory, a name half forgotten and wreathed in legend, like the name of Bugman's best beer. "That's right," said the stranger. "The goblins left me for dead. It's taken me all these years to work my way here, but hush now, I'm forgetting my manners." He threw off his wrapping of blankets and stood revealed as an old, grizzled and heavily scarred dwarf. "Joseph Bugman, master brewer and one-time ranger captain at your service." Joseph Bugman miraculously survived the Battle of Bugman's Brewery and turned up years later at the dwarf hold of Carrick Farm. He was not recognised at first, but when the king of the dwarf hold tasted the beer that he brought with him, his identity was proved beyond doubt. Bugman's Dwarf Rangers were reformed at Carrick Farm, and his reputation and his brewing skills brought dwarves from miles around, flocking to his banner. The expedition to reconquer and re-establish Bugman's Brewery assumed the proportions of a holy war. Equipment: double-handed axe, hand axe, short sword and crossbow. Battle cry: the old ranger battle cry, "Mince a beer," with the response "Zjorond" was maintained by the new Rangers, but a new battle cry was also used, consisting of the cry "Ait Peens" and the response "Kari." But cries seem to be in an arcane dwarven tongue, and their meaning is unknown. The story of Bugman's survival and his long journey to Carrickfarn is the subject of a number of epic poems and drinking songs. The development of Bugman's Castle XXXXXXXXX, or XXXXXXX, a special brew to celebrate the reforming of the Rangers, is considered a great achievement, ranking alongside the Battle of Hangover Hill, when the Rangers destroyed a large goblin ambush force, despite the fact that an impromptu drinking match had finished scant hours before the attack. Points values. Joseph Bugman, Dwarf Major Hero, 167 points. Aud Tom Thykson, Dwarf Champion, 13 points. Trooper, 11 points. Extra for Standard, 55. Extra for Musician, 22. The shield design carries the Bugman family arms, a tankard on a blue field. Uniforms: heavy brewer's coats over chainmail, heavy cloaks, buckskin breeches and heavy boots. The uniform is in various shades of buff, brown, green and blue. There are stats for Joseph Bugman, the champion and the troopers. There's also a little flag of Bugman's brewery, which I could photocopy or find online, or even I could cut the box, but I'm not going to do that. There it is, look, Bugman's flag. I couldn't fit the tankard and the bee symbol on the shield, so some of them have got bees and some of them have got the tankard. The tankard was very hard to paint freehand. I didn't have any transfers, so it's a little bit inconsistent. And that's it. And there's something very nostalgic about painting these sets. I feel like I'm painting a bit of history. Same with the Rugland's Armoured Orcs and the Space Marine Strike Squad, the Terminator Squad. I love these old sets with the polystyrene. And I was going to sell them a few weeks back just to make some extra money on eBay. And they were up for 48 hours. And I just thought, no, this is all wrong. I need to paint these and cherish these. And my next project is going to be painting the original Hero Quest box. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think when I'm perhaps back working full time and got a bit more money, I might invest in a few more of these Regiments of Renown sets. There's a wonderful Orc Archers set. There's a wonderful Skeleton Undead set. And they're getting rarer and rarer. So, yeah, nice thing to hang on to, really. These took 2 days to paint. I'm quite pleased with this guy here. This, again, was inspired by my cousin who had this set back in the day. I've freestyle drawn a head bandage on him with a little head injury. It is just part of his forehead. But I've just done that extra detail there. It's hard to see really, but it's just little characterful bits like that. And there's something just really classic about these. I've got the giant's foot here to give you an idea of proportion. There's a giant's foot there. I've got loads of other dwarves from later fantasy battle sets, so I may well fill in the ranks behind there and do a diorama of a dwarf and orc conflict. That'd be quite fun. But yeah, these are really quite special. But thanks for watching, and yep, tell me what you think, and hope you enjoyed the video. This has been Bugman's Dwarf Rangers.